So first of all, Beau, just how about impressions of the polls? I guess third and fourth respectively, but I know none of this means much right now.
I think it just it shows and just the true top to bottom greatness within this conference, and very seldom do the polls end up finishing the way they look right now. Over the last years, a number of years, it's been that way, and the reason is because it is hard to predict week in and week out what's going to happen, and because this league is so strong, and basically when I mean strong, it's tight top to bottom. I mean, even when you see games, I expected that team to win, or I could have seen that team win. That's still a battle or a close game, in terms of that. So it's going to come down to a lot of little things, and just like any coach will tell you, they don't get caught up, very much in the preseason polls. But nothing surprises me about them. I think a lot of it's based on usually on kind of where you were and what people view from the year before.
This league now has grown to the point where there's so many good teams, but also so many teams just in general. You're going to skip 4 teams every year. What do you think of that aspect of scheduling? Is there a solution?
Given the situation, yes, it is. It is kind of sometimes what's the right word? It's disappointing when you're not able to play a team.
Right.
But I'll take that disappointment with this strong 13-team league more so than being 8 teams like we were before. I think the strength of this conference and what it does, top to bottom, and being able to get to a few more places, even in recruiting, whatever it might be that you didn't get to before, those are all benefits. The downside is occasionally, hey, we didn't get, but sometimes that's a positive too.
Totally.
We didn't have to see them for a couple of years. I mean, Southern Utah's a team we didn't play last year. I didn't mind that, watching them on film or what that might be. So it's one of those things where there's no true solution, but in terms of where we are, I'll take that over when we were an 18 league. I think it just gives us that much more strength and relevance through the entire nation.
Expansion is already inevitable with Idaho coming back in a couple of years. What are your thoughts on just the future of this league? Do you want to see continued expansion of 16 teams good for the league, or where do you think that this league should go?
I don't have all the answers on in terms of is 16 better than 14. I mean, I think it's great that we're getting to 14. I think it's great that we're getting to an even number. I'm not sure what exactly. I know we're still talking about what that's going to mean. Is it going to mean divisions? Is it going to mean continuing to do what we do? But it does give you certain options, to think about and have those discussions. So I think getting to 14 and adding a program like Idaho that's been been an incredible team in this conference for a lot of years. Obviously, before they made the move up, they're going to be tremendously tough, and they're right down the road from us. It adds another rivalry piece, which I think with their schedule over the last few years, it's been tough for them to have some of those rivalry type games. So they're sure they're going to be obviously excited about that piece and just a lot of local teams they're able to play and create those type of matchups. But yes, in terms of expanding further, it's hard for me to say. I mean, 14 seems like a pretty good number to where at some point you say, okay, this is enough. But maybe 16 is even better. I don't really know the answers to that. I know it'll continue to make our league that much stronger, and hopefully it'll add to the aspect of where we are when it comes to playoff time and decisions for that committee by the strength and by the high volume of great teams we have in this conference.
Idaho's return obviously brings a competitive team right to your guys' backyard, but also now they don't have the FBS card to play against teams recruiting. So what do you think is the parallels there?
I don't think that's going to, what's the best way to say it? I don't think that's going to change or be some sort of, that's a disadvantage for them now. Because I think the advantages will be, in terms of, we're playing more locally, we're playing more, in the Northwest. I think, their game day atmospheres have a chance to be that much better just because of, visiting crowds coming in too, and just different, things of that nature. So in some ways, if you ask me, I think recruiting against them will be even tougher, in my opinion. I think, when we're in those battles, I think they'll be even tougher because I see no reason, Coach Petrino's doing, you saw some great steps last year, and I think they've got a chance to be, seeing what I've seen talent-wise, with their guys. I think they have a great chance again next year, and I know the guys they brought in, so I think it's going to be, a very, very tough program, in the Big Sky.
A couple just general state of college football questions for you. First of all, graduate transfers continues to be a huge talking point. I know there's advantages on both sides, but I know you guys lost a guy a couple years ago that you developed really well. So, what do you just think of that? Where's the future hold for that aspect?
Again, I'm not sure what the future holds. I just think there are certain things maybe that, because I think it can be a really good move. I think it can be a really good opportunity. I mean, you look at Russell Wilson's situation, and that was the right thing for him to be able to, go to a place that wanted him and that he had a chance, But what I would say is I think maybe there are certain aspects of the timeline of when would be the right time to be able to truly contact, to be able to truly have those discussions, in terms of that process. Because, it is fair for the student athletes. They've gotten to a point where they've graduated and they've earned that. They've put themselves in a situation for choices. The tough thing for us was probably more watching him still so far away from graduating, at that time, and that was, that became a stressful thing. I know for him, and just going through all the way through August without graduating. That was the part that I thought was, just a little bit different about that situation. He wasn't able to get there, get acclimated, be there in the spring. It's like, what is this going to lead to down the road? And that way. So it for me has more to do with maybe looking at some of the timelines of when this recruitment, should be able to happen. Is it after, is it after the graduation piece, and now doors are kind of open, that way, which I get.
Full cost of attendance. What are your thoughts on that? And do you feel like you guys need to pursue that in terms of venue?
Yeah, it's interesting, and again, in real time, we're just not in a spot where we're able to do that. So, but obviously, that could change. In years down the road, that could change, and those are some of our visions as a program. Is to put ourselves in a situation where that's not that doesn't end up being a disadvantage for us if other peers are able to do it, more and more are. So it's one of those things that we're working on, but we're not there right now.
You're now one of the veteran coaches in the league. It's crazy how much just in the last couple of years we've had all these new guys. So what do you think of just kind of the new wave of coaches? How much has that played into just the competitive balance?
Oh, I think just overall the coaching in this conference, I think it's leaps and bounds in my opinion where it was when I first got here as an assistant. So between 03 and 06, and I wasn't saying that it was bad. I'm not taking anything away. I mean, there's I was part of that, that coaching and that, but I just think it's taken. It keeps taking steps to a level. We're watching film, we're seeing what teams are doing, the innovativeness, and then we're looking at other teams. That's not disrespect to other teams from around the country, but we get in playoff or non-league games playing them. We're like, our guys in our league doing, you start to realize how good a job the guys in our league are doing with schemes, with coaching, with how kids are playing, when you're able to start comparing it on film to other programs throughout the nation, that just maybe aren't as cutting edge or as innovative, or, what they're doing. So it's been impressive. And again, every new coach that has come in every summer, some are on the younger end, some have just had great experience, like obviously Coach Choke and different guys. They all had some aspects, that are, I knew that after, going against Coach Hill last year. We didn't play them the year before, but then facing the identity that he created on defense and that attitude and mindset is, whoa, this is so, and that comes from him. He's just one example, but you see that with a lot of his coaches. So overall, it just makes our job that much tougher. Everyone in this room is tougher because you look around and you know that program's going to be well coached. That program's going to be led really well. That one is. So no weeks off.
One last thing for you, Cooper. Again, another accolade. I know you talked just so extensively about him, but what is he? I mean, at this point, what constitutes success? Because he already has.
I know.
He's got every award. He's got every record. How does he even reach the level he's already been at?
And I think for him, what constitutes success, going into his senior year, is also part in why he wanted to come back. And to to me, the success for him is how can he truly develop as a leader as a senior? How can he truly develop as a leader? How can he lead as a senior? How can he make a difference, with these guys and bring other guys, the way an incredible point guard can bring everyone around him and make his team better. That's how he looks at it. Because he even told me that, he's a better leader than he probably gives himself credit for in the last couple of years, because we see it as coaches. And, but in his mind, he didn't feel like, he goes, I don't feel like I've been able with seniors in place last year. I didn't feel like I led like I could have, and that's one of the reasons I want to come back. And I get one shot in my life to lead as a senior in college, and I want to do it. So that to me is probably, the stuff that he's thinking about. I know it is, and that would be the stuff that I, would probably look for to see, wow, that was his biggest development from junior to senior year in terms of that.